and welcome to AR Fitness and Health. I'm Elena, owner of AR Fitness, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about this video before we get into it. So this is just going to be an ab routine for postpartum. Basically, there's 3 of the exercises that you can start immediately postpartum to kind of help with recovery and help restore that pelvic floor. So you can do the connection breaths, you can do the half kneeling hip flexor stretch, and you can go ahead and add an overhead reach with it if you want. The one demonstrated in this video is just a regular one. There's no overhead reach to it. And you can also do a bodyweight squat. And when you're doing these exercises, when you're doing all of the exercises in it, you want to focus on your breathing and focus on your pelvic floor. But those are just the 3 you can do immediately after. The rest of the exercises, this whole routine, you can do a little bit later postpartum, like after you're cleared for exercise, 6 weeks or later, whenever you get cleared, right? So the rest of them you can start a little bit later and just kind of start working with those exercises and restoring your core. You can also do all of these exercises while you're pregnant as well to help that pelvic floor strength and make birth easier. There are several exercises either on your back or on all fours. So make sure you feel comfortable, you feel safe, especially if you're later in pregnancy, like the 3rd trimester. If you don't feel stable, don't try one of the exercises or modify it as needed. And if you're doing ones like on your back, for example, make sure you're not staying there too long. So you want to aim for shorter reps, right? And not stay on your back for too long. But anyways, whenever you're doing all of these exercises, whether pregnant or postpartum, you want to focus on your breathing and focus on that pelvic floor movement and connection, right? So whenever you inhale, your pelvic floor and your diaphragm are going to shift downward, and then you're going to exhale, they're going to shift back up. So you're going to focus on that feeling that movement and connecting there whenever you're breathing and as you're doing these exercises, nice and slow, nice and controlled, and just really feeling that core engage and working, right? That's the goal here, that you're feeling the pelvic floor, feeling your core, and strengthening it to either make birth and delivery a little bit easier or make your recovery process easier, so that way you can get right back to it as soon as you're able to, right? So whenever we get into these exercises, you also want to pay attention to your linea alba. So it's going to be right here, this middle muscle here. It's a little bit deeper in the abs. But whenever you're doing these exercises, if you see any bulging, right, if that middle section is coming up, bulging or coning, or if you feel it, right, maybe you don't see it, but you're doing the exercise and you can feel that bulge in the middle there. If you see or feel it, you don't want to do that exercise. You want to take a step back and either modify it or quit that exercise altogether until your core is strong enough to get to that part. But you don't want to feel that bulging or see that bulging. That's not good for your pelvic floor. It's just going to add a little more stress than you need, and this is all about recovery, right? So no, we don't want to make it harder, we want to make it easier for you. And yeah, that should be it. So I hope this helps. If you do find this video helpful, go ahead, give a like, share, subscribe, whatever is awesome. And yeah, let's get started. This first exercise is a connection breath. So with this one, you're gonna go ahead and lay flat on the floor. You're gonna have a pillow or a towel or a mat, whatever you can use to support your neck there, just for comfort. And then you're gonna go ahead and have your feet elevated on a bench or a chair, and you're gonna place your hands on your lower abdominal area and really focus on feeling your breathing and feeling that pelvic floor and diaphragm move together. So you should feel your pelvic floor and diaphragm shifting downward when you inhale and shifting upward when you exhale. This next exercise is just a body weight squat. So whenever you do this one, you really want to just focus on going slow and feeling your core, meaning feeling that pelvic floor and diaphragm shifting down and back up as you inhale and exhale. And really just push those hips back. Make sure you're focusing on form and breathing throughout this whole movement. This is just a side view of the bodyweight squat to show you. See, I'm pushing my hips back, my legs are coming parallel even with my knees, but you don't want to go too far. See how I push my hips back, and then I just go down to the point where my pelvis is just about to curve under or slightly curving under. You don't want to go farther than that. That just adds stress to your back. If you have any pain in your pelvic floor or lower abdominal area when you're doing this exercise, go ahead and shorten your stance a little narrower. So the first one was a little bit wider than hip width, about shoulder width apart, and then I came a little closer, just about hip width apart. This next one is going to be a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So you're going to come down onto your knees. You're going to put one leg out in front of you. My stance here is a little bit too wide, so you see how my supporting leg is leaned forward a little bit and my front leg is a little bit too far back. So you want to be even. So my knee should be in line with my glutes, and then my front knee should be right above my heel. So I should be narrowing my stance just a little bit here, but either way, the idea is you're going to go ahead and get in that stance, and then you're going to use your opposite arm to put on that back glute, and then you're just going to tighten it. So you're going to squeeze it, clench that glute, right, and then relax. And you're going to do that for several reps. Try for 6 to 8 reps to start in that range. And you're just going to, like I said, tighten, and when you tighten that glute, it's also going to tighten and engage that core at the same time. Next one is going to be a heel slide. So you're going to go ahead and lay down on your back. If your neck is not comfortable, you can go ahead and put, again, a towel, pillow, cushion, mat, whatever you have to support your neck there. And then you're going to go ahead and just lay flat with your arms to your sides, and you're going to bend your knees up. And you're going to slowly extend one leg out at a time. You're just sliding that heel all the way out. So you should be feeling this in your core as you slide that heel all the way down and then bring it all the way back up. So this is a slow movement, very controlled, really just focusing on feeling that pelvic floor and diaphragm shifting as you inhale and exhale. For a progression, you're going to go ahead and lift those hips up and squeeze your glutes while you do the heel slide. Next exercise is going to be a heel tap. There are several progressions you can do with this one and or various options. First one is here, just lying on your back, bent knees, and you're going to tap one heel at a time all the way down to the floor. You can also do 2 feet together and bring those heels down. Now, whenever you're doing any of these movements, any of the variations with this one, really focus on that linea alba and make sure that there's no bulging, that you don't feel or see any bulging. If you do, you don't want to go ahead and move up to the next progression. You want to take it a step back. You can also place your hands underneath your lower back for a little bit of additional support there, as I just did. And another way you can do it is a single straight leg. So instead of both legs, I'm going to alternate dropping one leg at a time, but I'm going to straighten it and keep it straight all the way out instead of keeping it bent like I was before. Another variation you can do is a double straight leg. So you're going to keep both legs straight all the way up and then all the way back down. Same thing here. If you're feeling or seeing any bulging, go ahead and take it a step back. You can also place your hands under your lower back for additional support. And finally, you can progress to a dead bug. So this is an alternating leg and arm at the same time. So you're going to come with those legs bent initially, and then you're going to bring one leg down to the straight position, and that opposite arm is going to come back as well. This next exercise is a bird dog. So with this one, you're going to get on your hands and knees, and you're going to extend one leg back and the opposite arm at the same time up. When you're doing this one, the focus is on your core, right? So you don't want to bring your leg and arm higher than your body is. It should be just parallel, even with your body, if not a little bit lower, and really just focus on that squeeze of your core and a little bit of a squeeze of your top glute as that leg comes up. There are some regressions and modifications that you can make for this one. First one is you can slide your foot back if it was too difficult or you felt bulging the first way. So if you'll notice my foot on this one, it's not coming off the ground like it was before. I'm using my sock and I'm just sliding that foot back and keeping it on the ground the whole time. You can also do just the arms and just work those shoulders. You're still working the core, but you're not getting that glute action in there. And this just keeps you a little bit more stable. If you have any wrist pain or wrist issues, you can try holding onto some dumbbells when in this position and just go ahead and keep them on the ground. You're just going to lift that arm without the dumbbell. You don't need to add the extra weight for this exercise. We're just focusing on that core recovery right now. And if the dumbbells don't help, you can also try using a towel, a pillow, mat, whatever you have. And you're just going to put your palms on it. So your fingertips should still be flat on the floor, and then your palms are going to be up elevated on whatever you're using. And that should make a big difference in your wrists right there.